Today we are going to be changing the transmission fluid on a 2006 Nissan Frontier SE. It's got currently 225,000 miles and still running strong with zero issues currently. To change the transmission fluid, I am not doing a full transmission fluid flush. I do drain and refills. I do not drop the pan. I do not clean the filter. I've never had a need to. I pulled it off once at about 120,000 miles and it really looked fine, so I haven't done it again since. The dropping the pan part, not the drain and refill. To do this project, all you need is your drain pan. I have several different size pans because I have several different vehicles, but I like this one the best. It's big, it always holds as much as I need, and it's got the nice fancy little drain spout. You of course need your recycle bin so that you can take it to your local place to have the oil recycled. I use splatter pan, whatever you want to call it, to put your drain pan on. My wife just got me this right here for Christmas. This is a Forma filter. I have not used it yet. I'm kind of excited to. You can bend it any way, which way. I don't know if I'll necessarily need it for the transmission. On this truck, the oil filter is mounted horizontally, and that's really why I'd asked her for it. But there's a cross member in the way when you're draining the transmission oil, and we're going to maybe use it, maybe not, I don't know. Anywho, there's that. You're going to need your paper towels. You're going to need whatever filter happens to fit your preference. You've got flexible ones, large ones, skinny ones. You're going to need your 19 millimeter wrench. It's really kind of difficult to get a ratchet and socket up in there because of the stupid cross member they put in the way. So box wrench is usually my go-to tool. And then of course you need your matic-s fluid. This comes in many different brands, many different but I stick with the Nissan. It's gotten me to 225,000 miles and I'm hoping it'll get me quite a few more. So the 2006, 2005 and a couple other years as well, I believe, actually take matic-J, and on the dipstick it says matic-J, but they don't really make it anymore, so you're upgrading to matic-S, which is a synthetic version of matic-J, I believe. You do not need 7 quarts. I bought 5 and got home and realized I still had 1.5. That's what those two are for. But you know, it's always good to have extra, especially if you live a long ways away from the dealer like I do. And then of course, lastly, you obviously need your Frontier. So let's get started. Okay, so if you have your truck lifted like mine, you can fit under here with your roller dolly without having to lift the truck or pick it up at all. It's rather quite nice. So you go to position your pan, your drain pan, all that right there without moving your camera. You come under here. I like to wear gloves for this. I got the truck nice warm and piping hot before we did this, so it should drain really good. Gloves are a good protector too. My preferred method is to keep pressure on the bolt until it starts dripping, and then you should be able to just rip it out. Boom, just like that. Let her drain. I always like to replace the crush gasket when I do my oil drains. Pretty much anytime I take this plug off, I like to replace it. It can be a royal pain in the hoo-ha to get off, but a little screwdriver, some patience, and it usually works out. I'll post some videos next time I do an oil change. I installed the stall bus oil drain valves on both my vehicles. I'm probably going to buy one for the bike too because I like it so much. For various reasons, which I'll describe in those videos, not here. But with those, you don't have to use a crush gasket. Well, you don't have to replace the crush gasket, I should say. The crush gasket's on there for good now. So just take the old one off. There's great debate on the forums about whether you put the round edge against the pan or the flat edge. I've done it both ways because I don't really care, and I've never had an issue. But so I just kind of throw it on, and however it ends up, it ends up. That's where I'm at. Alright, now we can put it back on the pan and fill her back up. It's done dripping, or you're done waiting for it to be done dripping. Just come in here, you put your plug back in. As far as tightening it up, I used to be a stickler about following the torque specs. I don't remember what this is. I think it's like 23 or 14 or something like that foot-pounds. I don't remember. Don't really care anymore. I just go until that drain, the crush gasket, crushes. Usually I do this from the other side, but the camera couldn't get a good angle, so I'm on this side, and it's proving to be fairly difficult. But we'll get there. You'll know when the crush gasket compresses because, one, you'll feel it, and two, if you're watching it, you'll see it. I've never once in 225,000 miles had a leak here by just tightening it until the crush gasket crushes, which is why I don't necessarily follow the torque specs on it anymore. Clean her up so you don't end up with drips on your driveway and think you have a leak. That's never fun. This also helps you spot later if there is a leak. That's it. So because I live in Arizona and all this stuff is in the garage, everything gets dusty. So I like to take my funnel of choice and just blow it out with a little compressed air. Just to get everything out before I dump it in there with some fluid. Okay, so I already know, based on the fact that I've done this several times, that a drain and refill is going to take me just about 4 quarts. Depending on how cold it is inside, outside, sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little bit more. But in general, just about 4 quarts is enough, which is why I usually buy 5. The way I check this transmission fluid, is I'm going to start up the truck, take her for a little test drive, little one, just enough to get her all warmed up, come back, check the level, and adjust accordingly. If I have to pull a little bit out, I'll just stick a little suction tube down the drain plug, but usually 4 quarts is pretty dang close to perfect.